welcome back for another episode. This week we're going to be learning all about chalk. We're going to get really, really nerdy about it. Now, some people might not think chalk is that important when they're climbing. I've met some people who don't use any chalk. Some people, like me, have a bit of a chalk addiction and can't help but chalk up all the time. It is actually really, really, really important because when we're climbing, we only interact with the wall through our fingertips and through our toes. We all already pay a lot of attention to the shoes that we're wearing and how sticky they are, the type of rubber we use. Makes sense to me to also pay a lot of attention to the exact type of chalk we use to get the most amount of friction from those points of contact. So to teach us a lot more about the intricacies of chalk, I'm joined by John and Oscar from Kletterkalk, two, I think, definite experts on this topic. So thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
So as an experienced climber, I know a fair bit about chalk, but not as much as these two. So John, Oscar, tell us, why do you know so much about chalk?
Hi, yeah, thank you. So we've both been climbing about 20 years.
Yeah, roughly 20 years.
Yeah. So it's been like long time in the sport, like definitely a passion of ours. And 4 years ago now, we were climbing in Spain in Albarracin and bumped into the German side of this company, Sebastian German and Lucas out there, and we got climbing with them, chatting with them, and got to learn about their product and try it out on real rock, and was just amazed by the quality of it essentially, and sort of learned from them.
Yeah,
very nice.
From that, we sort of struck up a relationship that we would then become the UK supplier of Kletterkalk. Sebastian's actually an industrial chemist, so what he did, he took a lot of the chalks that were on the market at the time, took them into the lab, tested them to see what was in them and what shouldn't be in them. And he found plastics, he found fungus, he found other dissolved metals.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, he was very surprised.
Yeah.
So he set about creating a chalk that would be good for his skin and also kind to the environment. That was his goal. So I think the first batch he made was in the bathtub, which it's made from electrolysis. So it's salt water or limestone. And it is 100% pure. So in Germany, it actually has a food rating.
You can eat it?
You could literally eat it. It won't improve your grade.
I'll try that out and I'll let you know if it does.
Okay. Let me know how it goes. So from that, we struck up a relationship with Sebastian. And now we are the UK side of Kletterkalk.
Oh,
so
congratulations.
We supply all of Europe as well as the UK.
Very nice. And obviously, I'm slightly biased. I really, really like Kletterkalk, and I am sponsored by Kletterkalk. So yes, I'm slightly biased, but I have chosen to be sponsored by Kletterkalk because I think it is really, really good stuff. I've tried loads of different brands of chalk over the years. Kletterkalk is a really, really good balance of pure chalk, as you say, made in either a bathtub or a lab, and not as expensive as some other high-end brands of chalk, which I think makes it a really accessible high-end brand of chalk.
That's right. That's
just
correct,
going back to what you said a second ago, though, what should be in a bag of chalk and what shouldn't be in a bag of chalk? And why do some brands end up with some impurities in there?
I think a lot of it is the mine chalk on the cheaper end of the market. A lot of it comes from Asia, and it'll come from multiple mines, and then they'll combine it, and as a wholesaler, we'll combine it, and then they'll just brand it as somebody's chalk. Yeah. And that gets out on the market, and cheap end stuff, which is fine. Some people really like it. Yeah. But I mean, we've seen it. I've seen it here. People put the hand in the bag and it comes out and it looks exactly the same because the chalk just doesn't stick. Yeah. And the one thing about our chalk, it will really stick to your skin. It's a very fine powder, and we've got 3 different types. So depending on your skin, and I think that's probably a unique side to us, is that we can test people's skin like we've done.
That was one of the most exciting bits about us starting to work together, is they did a cool skin test to measure the oil and moisture content of my skin, and have now made a specific blend of chalk which matches my skin type perfectly. Yeah. So yeah, really, really enjoyed that as well. How exactly does chalk work? Because I usually give a really basic explanation to students of, well, if your hands have less moisture, then you'll stick better to the holds. And that's about it. That's the whole story I know. Have you got more detail about exactly how chalk impacts our ability to climb?
It's more to do, I mean, for us, it's a skin type. So if you've got wet hands, then, as you know, some people have got super wet hands and they really struggle to get any chalk to stick. Yeah. And they're absolutely right, because if you think of chalk, it will actually dissolve in water. Yeah. If you've got oily skin, it will stick to the oil. So the ideal skin is dry, oily skin.
Okay.
I've got that.
Oh, congratulations! That's nice
Very
for you.
lucky.
Wait, what was mine again? Was mine oily and
You've
moist?
you've got a
Sounds
reasonable
gross.
amount of oil, but actually you've got more moisture.
Yeah, I've got damp hands.
Yeah.
I need a lot of chalk.
Yeah. So, I mean, as you know, we've got other products which you can use in conjunction with our chalk. Basically, we can tweak the chalk to a certain skin type. So we have on our website, we have an athlete package, which is what we did for Louis. And we worked with him for quite a while, changing the constituents of the chalk until we got a match that Louis was happy with. And from that, we've gone on to make a very good chalk.
It's a very, very good chalk.
Yeah.
So what exactly is in these bags? Because we've talked about, there's the pure chalk, but then obviously we're saying, oh, we modify the exact makeup of the different types of chalk to match the skin type. So
That's right.
what sort of things would you change to make it suit oily or more moist skin or drier skin? Are there any other elements that go into it?
Well, with the classic, that is a 100% magnesium carbonate,
Okay.
nothing else. It's
Who is that
totally
best
pure.
for then? Just pure chalk?
I mean, generally that's somebody who has sort of medium sort of moisture levels and medium oil levels. And the most general public.
Okay, so pure chalk is best for just
it's kind of an all-rounder,
basic skin. Okay.
All-rounder skin. And then on the Conquer side, that's for more like me, who I've got fairly dry, oily hands. We've actually put a carbonate crystal in there, so you will find a small residue in your chalk bag.
Yeah.
But actually, what that does, it's a slight abrasive, so you just feel a little bit gritty in the hand. That helps to rough up the pores and gets the chalk to get into the pore. So that's the side of that. And then if you go on to the other side of it, where people have got very moist hands, we have the crux. And that is magnesium carbonate again, but it also has a food grade additive which helps to dry the skin.
Okay.
So again, everything we use is food grade.
Yeah.
So we don't use.
You can eat any of the bags of chalk.
Any of the bags you could eat. It will cure your indigestion.
It's not what it's for, but you can if you want to. We're just making that really clear.
Yeah. It won't improve your grade.
No.
But yeah, that's the three chalks. What you can do with the chalks is you can blend them. So you could buy a bag of Conquer and a bag of Crux, or a bag of Classic and a bag of Crux, and then you can blend them yourself. So you can customize your own experience. Because moisture is affected by humidity, by your own moisture.
This is the thing, I think with different weather conditions and throughout the year, I think you'll probably find this that during the winter and during the summer.
My skin is completely different.
So you might find that you might have like a summer mix or a winter mix, or even if you've been climbing outdoors for quite a while versus climbing indoors quite a lot, the skin can change. So you can try to, rather than trying to constantly keep on track of keeping your skin exactly the same, which is really hard to do when you're constantly wearing it down climbing, instead you can change the chalk to suit your skin, which is a little easier to do, rather than messing around with things like antihydral and stuff like that, which can be
tricky.
wrong, if overdone. It's a fine line with those things.
Very nice. I think one of the strongest preferences that people have in the type of chalk they use is just simply choosing between liquid chalk or powder chalk. I personally much prefer powder chalk, but I can't tell how much of that is just that I'm used to the ritual of I put chalk on my hands, dust them off, and then I climb straight away. And to me, it feels really, really alien to put a load of liquid chalk on my hands and then wait for 10 minutes before I climb anything. On the other hand, though, I see a lot of much more experienced climbers doing like a base layer of liquid chalk, then a load of powder chalk on top. That seems to work really, really well for them. Can you tell me a little bit more and maybe convince me why I should start using some liquid chalk?
Well, the liquid chalk we have, you might find is slightly different from some of the others on the market. A common additive to liquid chalk that other brands might put in is rosin. The rosin is something that is added to liquid chalk quite often, which is like this sticky, tacky stuff used on violin strings and industrial processes. The issue with that is that it will build up on the hands over time, so you'll have less and less chalk on the hands and more rosin, which will sort of degrade the quality of the chalk over your session. With our chalk, we've gone with is super simple. It's just magnesium carbonate and isopropyl alcohol. The downside of that is that you might get a bit of separation, but all you need to do to fix that is to shake it up, which I think is fine. And it means that once the alcohol is evaporated, all you are left with is chalk and nothing else.
So what exact benefits would I get from using liquid chalk? Because I know it's slightly different compositions. There's different stuff in liquid chalk than there is to powdered chalk. what would I get from liquid chalk that I'm not getting from powdered chalk?
So there are pros and cons. One of the pros, I guess, is the chalk is dissolved in alcohol. So it means that when the alcohol dissolves, it can really help to sort of ingrain it into the skin.
Okay.
So you get a bit of a better coverage. But as you said, it does take a bit longer to apply it. Potential con, though, is again with the alcohol, while it does dry out the hands and people see that as a benefit, it can also strip the oils from your skin, which can also then lead to, over long-term use, making chalk less likely to stick to the hands.
Yeah, because we said we wanted dry, oily skin was like the best composition.
Yeah, so it's finding that balance. So there are pros and cons to both. Like, personally, I think like yourself, I prefer the powdered chalk. I like quick and easy to apply, but as a base layer, any sport climbers out there or anything like that, or comp climbers, can be quite useful to have that base layer on before you're going for a climb with quite a lot of moves.
Very, very interesting. Well, this all sounds amazing. Where do I get this amazing chalk from?
Well, you can buy it from your climbing walls. I mean, Yonder stock it, Stronghold, LCC, all those people stock our chalk.
Yeah.
You can also buy it direct from our website.
And you can buy from the Catalyst website.
You can buy it from the Catalyst website.
You can buy the Catalyst blend from the Catalyst website. You can get the same chalk that I use on my paws for yourself. You can try it there. Well, thank you very much for telling me everything I could possibly want to know about chalk. I feel like I understand it a lot better. I'd understood the idea of, chalk is good. It's not specifically for eating, but you can. All of the details of the exact composition of the different blends for different skin types I find really, really interesting. I think we should do a test before we finish of how much difference does it actually make. We found a really bad sloper on this wall, that one there. I'm going to see how long I can hang it for with no chalk. I'm actually going to wash my hands because I have chalk on my hands like all the time. So I'm going to wash my hands, see how long I can hang it for. Then I'm going to try it again with chalk, and if it's good, let's see if it makes a difference. But thank you so much for telling me all about this. This was really helpful.
Cheers.
Bye. Let's find out if chalk actually makes a difference. I've washed my hands, I've got no chalk. I'm going to try and hang off this sloper. I'm still kind of strong, so I reckon I can hang it for a little while. It's going. Okay. Anyone time it? Okay, well the camera will have timed it. Giving myself a hard job, because actually that was pretty good. But now, magic superpower chalk, the Catalyst blend. Let's see how much of a difference this makes. Well, I felt like I was on there for like 5 minutes, so I don't know how long I have to hang it for now. This is also having tired myself out from hanging it just now, so let's see how different it feels. I feel like we might be here for a while, actually. I'm going to start doing the outro. So thanks for watching. Hope you liked it, everybody. Let us know if you've got any more questions about chalk, and we'll put a link in the description so you can get some of that Catalyst Kletterkalk as well. And enjoy!